You guys are always asking me for parenting videos, Mamta, which is like that nurturing essence of the um, divine feminine um, flavor. You guys know I teach from three core flavors of the divine feminine that I feel like you can make thousands and thousands of flavors from these three flavors. And the three core ones, one of which is Mamta. Let me know if you guys are live. I came on a little bit early so that when I didn't have to rush off at 11 for my class. So I want to begin by talking about the mother wound. So I believe that um, a lot of the modern day humans are carrying what is known as the mother wound. And this can show up in multiple ways. It can show up as not being properly nurtured and mothered in our childhood. But it can also show up when, our moms were available, but there was something about our mom's energy that made us feel like we are burdensome, we are a burden. Or maybe she was physically available and not emotionally available. Or maybe mothering for her was all about sacrificing herself. And so you develop this like guilt that your mom had to struggle and sacrifice. Hello, Feminine Rose. Nice to see you here. And so what I find really fascinating is that I get requested to do videos on mothering so much on like the mother wound and how to be a better mother and how to overcome your fear of being a mother. But the interesting thing is that just like this phenomena also happens in my marriage videos where people request marriage videos, but they don't watch them. And I think that our culture and our society is so obsessed with sort of like the maiden, um, that instead of learning how to be a wife, we just rather struggle with dating. Instead of learning how to be a better mother, we just rather cry that we didn't have a good mother. And so there's like this, the word that's coming up, it's just like there's this juvenile energy. It's like the wounded goddess. And so instead of just learning the thing and becoming more skilled at the things that we want, we rather cry about the things that are not working. And I've really just picked this up from the collective so much. And I went through a period where I was like, I'm not doing any more how to be a better wife or how to be a better mother videos because they're the most highly requested videos, but no one watches them. And I do think that there is a bigger issue at play. Most of the women that should be learning how to be a better mother are still walking around crying about how they didn't have a great mother, while they're still like, passing that on to their children, to the future. So I basically in my life just broke that cycle. I stopped bitching and complaining about what my mom was or wasn't, and just decided, well, what kind of mom do I want to be? Who do I want to be as a mom? In yesterday's transmission, we were talking about like like the lineage reset button, right? Like I'm not a child anymore and I have children. So it's like, okay, am I gonna spend the rest of my life complaining about my mom and my parents and what they did or didn't do? Or am I just going to become the best version of a mother that I can possibly be? Hi, Christian. Good morning. Hi, Mika. And so for me, I in October of last year, I celebrated 20 years of being a mother. I have three kids. Most of you guys know that. And looking back at my 20-year journey of being a mother, the word goddess is the word that I closely associate with Mamta energy. Because, after coaching the world's most powerful women globally, like so much power, right? I've come to see that no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, you're still impacted in some ways from your mom, whether she was a positive role model in your life or she wasn't there or you wanted her to, like whatever the thing is, like every single person I have coached, throughout my 9-year coaching journey, there was some aspect of the mother wound or mom always comes up. And knowing that, I realized that I am the most important person in my children's life, and I will always be the most important person in my children's life for the rest of eternity. Like even when I'm gone, I will still be the most important person in their life. And we know now through all of the science that everything we do and think and eat, like it impacts our children from the womb. Even our past lovers, even like whatever we've been through in our journey, all of that, like your womb is literally a storage unit. It's literally a storage unit of your history. And so what I've had to do, what I decided to do is it doesn't matter what kind of a mom my mother was. It doesn't matter what kind of a grandmother I had. It doesn't matter what I see in society, what my friends are doing, what my cousins are doing. Who do I want to be as a mom? Who do I want to be as a mom? And let me tell you that my entire healing journey, my entire, like my desire to be healed and whole and wealthy and adored and loved and living in luxury, every single thing, spirituality, everything came from that desire to be the best mother that I can be, the best mother that I can be. Feminine Rose said, I learned how to be a proper financially literate, marriage ready feminine woman because of you. I had such a love-hate relationship with your content when I was healing. I love you. Thank you, Feminine Rose, for your honesty. A lot of people tell me that they were triggered by my content. They have a love-hate relationship with it. Very interesting, right? What we can be triggered by. And so before I get into my cosmology as a mom and how I choose to parent my children, the first thing I want to say is this. I've done a lot of videos on natural consequences and how we have a discipline-free home. We don't withhold love. We don't punish in our household. And a lot of people love that content. They really resonate with it. But then there's also people they don't get it. And they say things like, oh, there's only so much letting go you can do. And here's how I'm going to kind of touch on that from a different angle so it helps you understand. My husband and I have spent the last 16 and a half years building a very conscious home through doing tons of inner work. Just to give you an idea, I've spent over $1 million on my education and personal development in the last 44 years of my life. So when you look at my household and my children and my business and the way that I do things, run things, you cannot take my principles and view your current situation and try to apply it there. It's not going to work. What I'm inviting you to do is raise your consciousness to hold the beliefs that we hold, because that will then alter the reality that you're living in, right? So, for example, a mom that's dealing with, let's say, I'm just trying to think of a example, like a really unruly teenager who won't go to school, throws things, hits people, like all the things. She's listening to my work and she's like, "What? You don't have discipline in your house? You don't punish your kids? You don't believe in withholding love?" Um, if she does that, if she thinks about doing that, she sees chaos, because the only way that she can have any like control over her current situation is by punishing her child, right? Punishing her teenager, enforcing discipline. She would first have to pause and start looking at herself, which it's really difficult to do because we don't want to blame ourselves. We don't want to say, wait, this is a dynamic. What do I need to change in me? What are the lessons I need to learn? We don't like to do that because our society tells us that we can't blame the victim, that this is blaming the victim, that that everything can't be the woman's fault. But I approach my life very differently. So until you understand my cosmology and the belief systems that are attached to it, you're not going to be able to take what I'm saying, my love, my energetics, and apply it to chaos. It's not going to have the same effect, I should say. It could still help. It what I believe is that my marriage, the culture of my home, my children, my health, my business, my clients, everything is just a reflection of me. So I take 100% responsibility for my life. Everyone does not have the emotional intelligence to do that. Everyone does not have even the psychological capacity to do that. And I fully understand that. If you want to enjoy the results of my life, you're going to have to start with inner work. It's just the truth. So just understand this, that if you look at your household, right? Like, and you're like, well, how can Mina not have discipline in our house? We don't need discipline in our house because of the energetics that I run as the goddess of the household. I understand that as a woman, I have a lot of power in my marriage. I understand that as a woman, I have a lot of power in my parenting. My three kids were literally in my womb, right? Like they're literally created from me. No one knows them better than I know them. No one understands them better than I understand them. And so the most important person in their life cannot be the person that's enforcing laws on them and rules on them and discipline on them and like withdrawing love. That would just like imagine the psychological warfare that would feel like. And what's really interesting to me is the same women that complain about not getting everything from their parents also are the same ones that refuse to do the inner work to give that to their kids. It's like it's lost on them that they are also creating the cycle. And so that was that one decision of like, okay, well, I'm not a child anymore, and my parents are like they are who they are. What kind of parent do I get to be? What kind of a culture and energy do I want in my home? And so throughout this process, my husband, my children have become my best friend, my greatest allies. These are the greatest souls that God has entrusted with in my care, right? Like my with I affect my husband's energy. I affect my children's energy. Like I'm there to be the anchor, the life force for how they get to live. Mika said, "Yep, I've been going to therapy and opening up these mothering wounds and cleaning them so that they can start to close up. It's been a game changer having you as a model for motherhood." Beautiful, Mika. I'm so glad that you're doing the inner work, right? And because there's like less of us here, and I already know that people request my mothering videos and my relationship, but they don't want to watch them because they know that it requires them to be honest and take responsibility. It's easier to blame men. It's easier to blame society. It really is. I know my work is hard. I know. I totally get it. It will give you all the results you want, but you have to take personal responsibility for your life, and not everyone's ready for that. But I will go ahead and open this up so that we have more people here. I still thank my mother who passed on years ago for the highly conscious decision she made in her parenting. I continue to see the results of it now. Beautiful. That's so amazing, Christian. I love that. I love that. Sounds like you had a beautiful foundation. Good morning, Mariana. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about, let me see what else is coming through. I had some notes here as well. Let me see if I can pull those up. Ah, here's the other thing I wanted to talk about. I put my notes here. So my belief is that the more I'm in my pleasure as a mother, the more I'm vulnerable and open. And remember, vulnerable doesn't mean the words coming out of your mouth. They mean how deep your heart is open. So the more vulnerable I am, the more in the moment I am. So presence, power, and pleasure have become kind of like my anchors of motherhood. And it's really interesting because society right now seems to be in this, at least in the Western world, in the state of chaos when it comes to dating and parenting and a lot of things. And I've created this vortex of a completely different energy. So when women enter my vortex, dating becomes easy, marriage becomes easy, parenting becomes easy. And I do think it's because I've created this vortex where motherhood and wifehood and womanhood is something that's pleasurable. It's something that's anchored in power. It's something that anchors in presence. And what's really interesting is I think the last either, I don't know if it was on YouTube or it was a reel or something. I did a video on Mamta energy and I was wearing red, just like I am today. And I consciously chose this color. And it was like a sexy little crop top. And people were freaking out. Women were freaking out because they were saying that that is the wrong top for me to be wearing and talking about motherhood. And I thought that was so interesting because I chose that top consciously that day, just like I chose this sexy outfit consciously. Because when I think of the mother, I think of the goddess. When I think of mother, I think of pleasure. When I think of mother, I think of sexy. I think of enjoyment. I think of ravishment, and it's really just a goddess sitting up on her throne. So my association with mother is this like sexy red goddess energy, but everyone doesn't agree with that. Everyone has their own imagery of what it means to be a mom, right? And so people were so upset with me that why would I wear like red and like look sexy when I'm talking about motherhood? Why would I not? Why would I not? Like my kids have told me so many times that they're so like proud when they're like when their friends or their teachers or people are like, "That's your mom?" Like especially my oldest one who used to tell me all the time. He used to be like, "Mom, like my friends can't even believe that like you're my mom. Like you look so young, right?" There was a level of like feeling proud that his mother takes care of him like herself. And that made me think about how much I wanted my own mom to really take care of herself. It made me really realize that we all wanted our moms to be happy. We wanted our moms, like, there's still this energetic cord attached to our moms. We wanted them to be happy. We wanted them to be healthy. We wanted them to be thriving in life. And so I get to create that. I have created that. My children will never have to worry about me because I've coached women that were had like finally had success in their life, right? Like they're happily married and they're having their kids and they have money and there would always be this but. And I would say, "What's the but?" The but is, "But my mom is not happy, or my mom is sick, or my parents are going through this thing." And so we don't realize that when as parents, it is our responsibility to be happy. The greatest gift that you can give your child is not one of sacrifice. It's one of living your best life, being a positive person, being grounded and rooted in your own happiness, being alive, being alive. Nothing will help your children feel more blessed, more rich, more wealthy, more loved, more a sense of belonging than you as a parent living your best life. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'm so excited to be here, Alexis said. First time catching you live. Love you, Mita. Welcome, babe. It's so nice to have you live. Good morning, Mariana. Michaela said, I've been praying to God to show me all the ways to parent even better than my parents did. Your video is perfect as always. Michaela, you remind me of a very important point I wanted to make. So thank you for that. A lot of people are doing what I call revenge parenting. Okay. This is a concept I've discussed with my husband, and my children love this concept and they love asking me questions about this as we see this out in life. Revenge parenting is when you make a decision to parent differently than your parents parented you without factoring in what your children actually need. Okay, let me know in the chat if this is resonating with you, if this makes sense. So, revenge parenting is when you decide you're going to parent differently than your parent without factoring in what your children actually need. And I have a wonderful story about this. I'm going to change up the story because I want to protect the identity of this person. Let me see how I can change it up and still keep the integrity of the story. Okay. This is such a classic like example of this, and my children love this example. So someone that I know was um telling me the story about how so basically what happened is that I saw something different with their child, and I asked about it. And she said, "Oh yeah, I let my child do this and this." And their child is very young. And I was kind of surprised that they were okay with this child doing this. I'm trying to be very careful. Sorry of the story. That's why a lot of time. So I've shared this before. I change my stories up a lot to protect people's identities. Obviously, I realize that I'm a public figure and I don't want my friends and family or anyone to feel like I'm going to share their business or my clients. So what I do is I change up the story so much that no one can tell ever who the person is. So if it's a client, I'll say it's a family member. If it's a family member, I'll say it's a friend. If it's a friend, I'll say it's a client. Like just to kind of keep be in integrity. And that's why sometimes when I retell the story, I forget the points because I don't remember what I changed up from the original story. So I'm trying to be very mindful in telling this story and protecting this person's identity. But this is such a great example of revenge parenting. So I wasn't judging, but I was surprised because the thing that she allowed her kids to do is not something I would be okay with my kids doing at that age. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I guess she could see that I was a little surprised. So she said, well, um, I was, my mom never let me do this. And I wanted to do this thing really badly. And she was older. When she was telling me the story, she said that she was a teenager and she wanted to do this thing. And her mom said, absolutely not. And so her child is a baby. And she let her baby do the thing that she wanted to do as a teenager that her mom wouldn't let her do without factoring in if that was the right thing for her particular child. And so I asked her, I said, that must have hurt a lot. And she said, yeah, it did. And she was bleeding and she was crying, but it's fine. And I was kind of like taken aback by that. And all I could think about was this is an example of revenge parenting. A lot of people don't realize that we're doing this. And I had to catch myself too, because there would be a lot of things where I would be saying to myself, oh, my dad used to do this, and I would never do this to my kids. And then I would wonder, well, what if my kids need that though? So revenge parenting is all about like breaking that cycle is really about saying to yourself, what does my child that is in front of me really need? Versus, I'm never going to do this because my mom did this, or I'm going to do this because my mom didn't give it to me. That is not helpful or useful to the child in front of you. And so this is a big thing. Michaela, I don't know what did you say that reminded me of that story, but I really wanted to bring light to this because our parenting needs to be about us and our children. and our values, and not about what your parents did or didn't do. Because when you're still in that like revenge energy mode, revenge parenting, sometimes you miss what is in front of you. Let's see. I've been so lucky to have a year without my children around to heal. I didn't always feel it was luck, but I've been able to do inner work I would have never had before. Thank you for your wisdom. You're so welcome, gorgeous. Wow, you're so powerful. Thank you, Marva. You have helped me so much to enjoy motherhood and truly appreciate the great honor and privilege it is that I get to be a mother to my kids. It really is. Like, I cannot separate the word goddess from the word mother. That's really the place that you take in your children's life, is the place of a goddess. Hi, Mina. It took me 3 years of watching your content to finally take your advice and get to therapy. That and your content pushed me to take full accountability for myself. All of my relationships have changed. Starlight, that makes me so happy to hear. I'm so happy. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. I've been doing inner work and I've just come from watching your video on being a holographic image of all the women in my lineage. Beautiful. Elena said, I used to be so ashamed of myself when I would lose my temper and yell at them. I totally understand that, Elena, because that's not how you want a parent, right? When we feel shame, I know shame gets a bad rap in society, and there's aspects of shame that is bad, but shame is also a very necessary component. There's no such thing as bad emotions, right? Or so shame means that we're doing something that is out of integrity, or we're not living to our highest potential. There's more for us. And so the reason that a lot of women feel regret or shame or guilt when they're losing it in front of their family, screaming at their kids, is that because we don't want to parent that way. And there is another way. There is another way. I don't have to yell at my kids. I haven't, oh my God, I haven't yelled and screamed. Let me tell you guys since when, especially like at my kids. Oh my God, I think the last time it happened was 2017. I had a moment with my oldest son where I was screaming. Like, that's how far back I have to go. And it was, let me just tell you, it was an extreme scenario. Extreme. Like, most people will never have to deal with this, luckily. Okay, thankfully. I hope, I pray. So these are the kind of things I want you to like embody, is that just because everyone's doing it does not mean I have to parent that way. We've normalized chaos in our homes. We've normalized women struggling to parent. We've normalized sacrifice being a primary foundational thing. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't sacrifice elements of that when parenting. Like, for example, I did not start sleeping through the night and having like 7-8 hours of sleep until 6 years ago when Alina was 5, because my oldest one didn't start sleeping through the night until he was 5. Ayan slept through the night, but then I still had Arman who wasn't sleeping through the night, and then I had Alina. And she did not sleep through the night. My oldest one and my youngest one need very little sleep for some reason. Still to this day, they don't sleep as much as other children sleep. So yes, if I look at that, like there is an element of sacrifice. Would I trade that? No, I had so much more time with my kids. Some of the most beautiful moments of my parenting journey have been awake at night, like with my babies, staring into each other's eyes and spending time with them. So I'm not saying that if you look at my journey, there weren't elements of sacrifice. Like, for example, I had the most terrible pregnancies. Okay. But would I trade that? No, the blessing of being able to carry my children? Of course not. Of course, I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I'm not saying that it was all like there wasn't hardship in it, but there is growth. There's love in that hardship. those hardships that we go through is actually what like which strengthens our love even more. It makes it even stronger. Hi, Mina. As an African woman, I've had the desire to marry outside my race, and there has been the feeling of disapproval as if from my ancestors who fought a strong war for us to be free. How do I think your message got cut off and I don't see a follow-up. So I would like to keep today's discussion on parenting as much as possible, but let me just riff on that a little bit. I can see that this is something that's heavy on your heart. So what I would say is that there are moments where I continue to carry my ancestors' legacy and their lineage and their traditions. And then there's other ones that I choose to alchemize and reset. And I'm just making the decision of that. I'm in control of that. I decide what's beautiful and what I feel as the most educated, most alive, most conscious version of the hologram at this moment, right? Hopefully, my children will take that to the next level. But at this moment, it's me. I'm the one. And because it's me and I'm the one, I'm deciding. And so, what I would invite you into is to decide, is this the tradition that you do want to carry over, or is this the one that you get to change? Hi, Claire. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's been a while. This is such a great topic. I'm so glad to hear that, Kristen. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. This is a powerful video, not meant for everyone. Absolutely. Pleasure and power is not for everyone. I have learned some people do not like that. Starlight says, all I've ever wanted is my mom to be healthy and happy. Yep, by prioritizing herself, but she never did. Now she's become a burden to everyone around her. I worked hard to no longer resent her for it. This, I have heard this so many times, Starlight. You are not alone in this. I know exactly what you mean. And because of that, I decided that I'm never going to be that. So you get to decide that what kind of mom you're going to be. I'm not going to be the kind of mom that my kids have to worry about. I'm the mom my kids are like, we can live our best life because mom's good. Mom's fantastic. Mom's living her best life. Charlie said this absolutely resonates. I discussed this with a friend the other day. Beautiful, Charlie. I love that it's all on the same wavelength of what you're thinking. Makes complete sense. I've been thinking about this for a bit. Do your inner work and have so much regulation in your life, in your so much emotional control, not from like I'm controlling my emotions, but I'm gonna burst, that you like think of the last time you lost it or scream in like you have to like go back like tons of years, right? Like we're all human, we're gonna have human moments. However, before I did my inner work, every day was a frustration. Every day was hard. Every day was a struggle fest, right? After I've done inner work continuously for so many decades, right? Now I have to like think the last time I felt that or the last time I did that happened to me. And that what that means is that not that we're never human, but that the gap in between the human and the goddess is getting bigger and wider. Okay. This makes complete sense. I've been thinking about this for a bit. Hi, Mina. I used to feel like a burden to my parents as a teen and child. How can I avoid making my future children feel that way? By deciding. Like how you felt has nothing to do with how you're going to parent. So, like, let me change the question. This is how the question sounds to me. Okay. And I'm saying this with love because I wanted to hit you really hard so that that association breaks away. Okay. Because obviously, I can't coach you on YouTube because it is not set up that way. So I have to give you the thing that will like shatter that belief system in the best possible way while also inviting you into my deeper work. Okay. What if I said to you, my mom used to wear white, but Mina, like, I don't want to, I don't want to wear white. So like, what can I do? What would you say to me? Put it in the chat. What would you say? in the time that I have, without obviously the ability to coach you here, what would you say to me? Rosalind said, how beautifully and easy to understand the way these sensitive topics are explained by you. Thank you. It's so welcome. I'm so glad it's resonating, right? I know there's a lag, so I'm going to pause for you guys to actually answer that because that's what we're really saying, right? So in my life, I show up happy. When I'm not happy, I work through and process those emotions. I show up healthy. When I'm not healthy, I figure out why I'm not healthy and become healthy. So when my children see me every single day, they see me working through things, being happy, playing with them, being in pleasure. There's no element of them feeling like their life is a burden on me because I'm just happy. Wear the color you'd want to wear, of course. Yep, parent the way you want to parent. Right now, revenge parenting would be like, my parents did this, therefore I'm just going to do the opposite without considering what your children need. So I've actually spent time saying, hey, what kind of a mom do I want to be? What do I want the culture of my house to represent for my children? How do I want my children to feel in their home every day? How do I want to feel for my kids? What kind of a space do I want to be for them? What are the lessons that are important for me that they learn through my embodiment? I'm not a mother, but this is so healing. I'm so happy to hear that, babe. I'm so happy. And by the way, I know you're in Kainath, and here's what I want to say. All these transmissions that I'm doing, all of my people in Kainath, if there's things that are resonating or brewing or questions, bring them to the office hours and we'll coach deeply. We'll go deeper. Here, I can only give what I feel can be held by the collective, but in there, I can go deeper. So if there's things that you're like, ooh, make a point of it, bring it to the office hours. Mina, your work made me connected to my mother. Now I'm having problem to connect to my father. I feel anger on him always. How do I heal that? Okay, so separate the anger and father. So use my work that I've given you in the Basic Babe Bundle, Lady Balls, and the Nervous System Reboot. Choose any of these three. Any of these are powerful portals that are going to land you in the same place. So here's what I would do. So let's say that I was angry at my dad. Okay. So there's two things here, dad and anger. So I would separate them. I would say, okay, dad, go away for a while. I'm working with the anger. And then I would use the tools I've given you in those three courses that I mentioned to go find the anger, release the anger. Just, it might take me an hour, 30 minutes. Typically, it's that quick. The longest I've had something lingering was unforgiveness in one particular area, and it took me maybe 10, 15 sessions throughout like 18 months. But like still, I'm glad it's gone because I don't have to carry that in my body. That's not talking about burden, that's burdensome, right? So I'd separate that, release the anger, and then I would say, okay, now anger is gone. What kind of a relationship do I want to have with my dad right now? And what I just shared with you is actually the inner work that I did with my father. And thank God, because I was holding a lot of resentment towards him and didn't even know it. When I realized it, I separated the resentment from him, released the resentment, and we had the most beautiful, beautiful relationship in the last 5 years of his life. And I didn't even know that those were the last 5 years. Could you imagine if I didn't do that and he passed away and I didn't get to have those beautiful 5 years? The beautiful 5 years that I had with him, like, it's worth a whole lifetime. It's worth a whole lifetime. So when we're trying to deal with two things, like, let me give you another example. When we're dealing with addiction, so you guys know I quit coffee years ago, and I was studying addiction and like, why am I addicted to caffeine? And what I realized, it wasn't just the caffeine. There's always two parts of every addiction. This is like scientific work. You guys can go look into this. There's always two elements to an addiction. the first part, like even with nicotine, there's first the act of being addicted to the nicotine, and then the second is the act of smoking. So with caffeine, it was the addiction to the caffeine and the act of drinking something hot and warm in the morning. So I do drink something hot and warm in the morning. I'm drinking caffeine-free tea. So what this does is I separated the two addictions. I said, okay, I'm going to have withdrawal with caffeine. That's going to be horrid, right? Because at that point, I had been drinking caffeine for like 20 years. However, I can make it easier if I'm still drinking something hot at exactly the same time that I would be drinking coffee. Because then I'm not dealing with two aspects. Is that making sense? Let me know if this is resonating with you guys. So when you're saying I'm angry at my dad, you're dealing with two things. You're dealing with your dad and you're dealing with anger. When you separate them and deal with one, you release it, you transmute it, you alchemize it. Now you can just go with your dad. You can be like, okay, what do I want to do? What's the dynamic I want to create with my father now? Okay. Abundance Life, Poonam said, Mina, you are such an inspiration in all ways, as a mother, as a woman, as a wife. Thanks for showing up. Thank you, babe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just thank you. That means a lot to me. I'm just a woman like you that wanted to create an intentional life. That's it. That's it. That's the only that's the only thing that got me here and then willing to do the inner work. Jet Set said it was the best purchase. Thank you. I feel so supported. You're so welcome, gorgeous. It's my honor having you in Kainat. I love our little group and community that we've created, our little family. Mina, how does this relate to the three core feminine flavors of the mother, the goddess, and the sex kitten if motherhood is similar to the goddess? Just curious. Remember that when we're talking about flavors, we're separating them so that I can teach them. They are one. Inside of you, they're one. And I've given that disclaimer every time I've taught those flavors in Echoes of the Divine, in Sacred Feminine Intensive, in High End Divinity, in Million Dollar Babe, all my courses. So in me, they're one and whole. I'm a whole being. When I teach them, I separate them in case you have, let go of some of them. So that's why I talk about them separately, but inside of you, they show up as one. Starlight said, that's exactly what I did to get over the anger and resentment I had towards my mom. Years of pent up negative emotions gone in an hour and a half for felt lighter sense. Yeah, the actual inner work that most people don't want to do, they just want to do the psychoeducation, which is they want to learn about the inner work, which is an important aspect, but it's not the actual inner work. So that's why people will come and watch content, but I'm like, okay, let's go do the work in the courses. That's where the actual work is. And what they don't realize is you can spend 20 years watching content and the inner work hasn't happened in your body. But you can spend an hour or 30 minutes doing the inner work and you're transmuted, you're transformed. That's where the transformation happens. I love it when you answer questions that you connect with your body. So beautiful. Thank you. By the way, you look absolutely gorgeous. The dress you are wearing in and yesterday live where they're from. They're kind of all over the place. My tops are from Nordstrom and my skirt today is from Amazon. Yesterday's top was also the same top. It was from Nordstrom and the skirt was from Venus.com. So all over the place. But this is like, when I think of motherhood, I think of goddess. I think of red. I think of sexy. I think of luxury. I think of pleasure. I think of power. I think of presence. Like those are like the associations that I have with like the aspect of Mamta. There's something luxurious about her. There's something warm about her. There's something so comforting about her. There's something, it's just like such a luxurious landing space. Okay. Notice how that when we started talking about the kind of mom we want to be, instantly we went to our parents. I'm so committed to breaking this association. I know that it's like trapped in our psyche. It holds us back so bad. Oh my gosh. As a projector, like it hurts my heart seeing that if most people can break this association, they could be their like they can have their dream family. But notice how quickly we went back to talking about our own, how we were parented. Your inner child, your inner psyche, it just wants to take you back, except you're not a child anymore. You're in so much control, right? Like, look at all the comments right now. Everyone's talking about their mom and their dad. All of a sudden, we've gone back. But beautiful, this conversation is about what you get to be as a mom. And so, a big part of this healing is you have to separate the two. I know we're programmed to connect them, but I want you to be spiritually awake and above the matrix. Because what happens is you can learn to do something from within the matrix. It's harder. You can. It's so much easier when you're above the matrix. I want you to go on the cloud. I want you to be above it. My parenting has nothing to do with my parents. I'm saying something that maybe most people can't. They're like, wait, what? I don't factor in my parents in my parenting decisions. Ouch. Ouch. Right? Now you might be wondering, where does Sheena come into this? Sheena was my mom's nickname. You guys know this. And a lot of my values and things I learned from her. But my inner child isn't the one pulled by her anymore. The grown woman that is Mina, the grown woman, the holographic field of all my ancestors, gets to extract Sheena's wisdom and put him in my books and my courses and tell you guys about it. But my inner child is not pulled into that chaos of my own childhood. What does how I was parent have anything to do with my kids? Let me say this again. What does my childhood or the way that I was parented have anything to do with my kids or the home they get to have or the mom they get to have? Absolutely zero. But I see grown women, instead of looking at their own behavior, 11:11, I always see 11:11 on my dashboard. I always show you guys that. I won't show it today, but I love it. Instead of looking at their own behavior and their own decisions in their house, they keep talking about their parents and their childhood. Separate the two. Go and do the inner child work. I have it in the basic babe bundle if you guys want inner child work. Go and do the inner child with separate it from your family. Don't let those two things touch. Don't let it touch. Let me tell you a secret. You could be your own dream mom, meaning the kind of mom you want to be, and it has nothing to do with the childhood you had. You can go heal that or not, and you can decide to have a better life. And so I really want to hold you guys to a higher standard because I saw the integrity of the chat just go down. Everyone's now just talking about the inner child came out. Where's the inner goddess? Where's the inner goddess? Go and do the inner work. I have courses on this. You can go to therapy for it. Go and do it. But separate it. For God's sake, let's separate that. Let's parent from the goddess. Let's parent from the healed whole self. Instead of constantly just going back to my mom, my dad, my childhood, my misery, let's cut that out. I get it. Some of us had really hard childhoods. I get it. Trust me. My entire childhood was sexual abuse, bullying, food insecurity, up and down. I totally get it. What does that have to do with my kids? Nothing. Nothing. I love my children enough to separate those two things. I got the healing that I needed in the thing, and that has nothing to do with my kids. It has nothing to do with my kids. They get to have a heal hold mother. They get to have a beautiful life with a safe home, abundant home where we laugh and play. And my childhood has nothing to do with them. I share stories sometimes. We learn from those experiences, but I'm not bringing that into all of my parenting decisions all day long. So powerful. Never knew need to separate the two, but really, really makes sense. So much sense to me. That's why I say that my work is, especially the stuff that I do the frameworks and the healing work in my courses, but on YouTube, it's all transmissions and rifts. And here's why. I'm not teaching you something you don't already know. It's inside of you. It's encoded. There's spiritual DNA inside of you. I just have to remind you of it and it activates. That's all I have to do. Baby Pink said, my parenting has nothing to do with my parents. My mind is blown. Standing ovation. I'm so glad. You know this deep down. But the inner child pulls you back in there. Instead of talking about the kind of life we get to create, we're talking about our parents. Like, what the fuck? What? What does that have to do with anything? We are a goddess manifesting our dream life. But everyone noticed it's almost contagious. It started degrading really quickly. And I'm not saying that's not important. Go do the inner work. I have courses around this. Go do the inner work. But that has nothing to do with you now. It has nothing to do with the kind of kids you get to have, the kind of parenting you get to do, the kind of home you get to create, the kind of money in your bank, the body that you're in, the pleasure that you feel. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Yeah. Separate those two things. Combining them and trying to heal two things, just like the addiction aspect I talked about, is harder. Not saying can't do it. Why would you want to make it harder? Oops. Hold on. Sorry. I want my kids to feel limitless as if they're gods in human form and find the power to change the world. Absolutely. And so we have to be that example first. Absolutely. Because another thing is that when we haven't lived our full potential, we want our children to do what we couldn't do. I eliminated that as well. I'm like, while we're in the process of eliminating my parents from my parenting decisions, I'm also going to eliminate the burden of my children having to living up to my full potential. No, I have to live up to my full potential. They get to live up to theirs, and they get to decide what that is for them. I love this, Mina. This means so much to me. I needed to hear this. I'm so happy to hear that this is landing for you. Someone keep time for me. Maybe I'll put an alarm. I have my 4-hour intense class again today and then tomorrow, and then I graduate. Okay, let me go ahead and set an alarm real quick because I get into my transmissions and I don't want to miss my class, obviously. I'll put it for 10:45. This is why knowing this information is not enough. Like, I take this time to activate you. I take this time to broadcast this frequency, but then I invite you into my containers to do the actual work. And right now, what I'm really called to invite you in is the 99 Realm membership. This portal has 12 courses, 12 transmissions that are, it's not just transmission. It's not like this. This is where I'm just activating, I'm riffing. In there, I give you the frameworks and the tools to actually do this really deep, potent work. And so in 99 Realm, you get a course a month working on different aspects of you. So in the first month, you get the divine hug, your reciprocal relationship that God has given us, right? Like with the divine masculine. I believe month 2 is Lady Balls, which is a game changer. That's like your deep, like mindset work, thought work, like really just having control instead of your mind having a control of you. And so we go in this 12 portal journey. Now, if you get one course a month in there. However, if you want to get the annual pass, buy the annual pass, email my team, and they'll give you access to all the courses at once. So that's something that I just announced yesterday that you guys can do. If you're like, no, Mina, I want the whole thing, kainat or all the things bundle is where you want to be. Kainat, we spend a lot of time together in a year. It's a year container with courses, office hours, sisterhood integration. You get my 4 group coaching intensives that I run every year, group coaching programs. Right now, we're in Wifed. Kainat students are instantly in that. And then not only do we talk about like we work in Wife, but Kainat students have an advantage because in the office hours, they get to go even deeper because it's more intimate. We have more time together. And so that's where we're really in each other's fields a lot, doing really deep work, like the actual work, not just talking, not just psychoeducation, but the work, the healing work. Whoa, now that will be hard for me because I always wanted my kids to live the life I didn't. Yeah, that can actually ruin relationships. I was actually speaking to someone yesterday, and she has such a hard relationship with her mom because her mom means well, but her mom wants her to have all the opportunities that she didn't. So she's controlling her daughter's life, basically. I told my kids, you will never have to worry about trying to live up to something that I want you to live up to. You'll never have to worry about fulfilling my unfulfilled dreams. I'm good. I'm fulfilling all my dreams. Like you get to be a whole being. I will always be here for you, whether I'm in flesh or not. I will always guide you when you need me. I'll always be a safe space for you. I will always be your biggest cheerleader, but you don't ever have to fulfill any of my unresolved stuff because I'm already doing that. Like you get to live your life fully. When does it start or is it rolling admission? So if you join today, your year starts today and people just jump in and they just like, for example, whenever a member joins, they just show up for the next stuff. They start receiving the calendar. There's a calendar that you can add to your calendar and they'll just like hop on and they just jump in and it's just been so fun. All the women are amazing badasses. We've got lawyers, doctors, scientists, college students, influencers, coaches, moms, women wanting to be moms. um, we've got single women, we've got older women, younger women. It's amazing. It's my home. It's the place. I feel like everything else I've done on YouTube with my books, with my courses, was to prepare me for Kainat. That just feels like home to me. It's my favorite thing I've ever done. That there is the application process, and here's why. The reason that there is an application process is because it's not just you being in my field, I'm in your field. We're together a lot in that group. Like we're doing deep work. I'm sharing like the depths of my soul and my heart of everything I'm currently doing. You guys are sharing that. We're doing so much healing work. Where our fields are merged in there because that's just what happens with nervous systems when you're together, right? So I want to make sure that everyone in there is the same level of consciousness. So it's not like about an income or a job, although we have women from such a wide variety, and I'm so proud of that group. It's more so the consciousness. We're all there with open hearts. We're all 100% in. We're all, learning from each other, sharing, growing, willing to do the inner work, showing up for ourselves, our families. Just beautiful, beautiful. It's my favorite place. Yes, that is true because my son and daughter have now pulled away from me. That I see this a lot. So the best thing you can do is apologize for them and go live your best life. That's it. Apologize and go live your best life. So for example, I will never have to force my children to write a book because I wanted to write a book, I wrote a book. I wanted to travel, I traveled. I wanted to buy a mansion, I bought a mansion. I wanted to be the most educated version of myself, I became it. I want to be in my dream body, I did it. My kids do not have to fulfill my dreams and desires. They get to fulfill their dreams and desires. I get to support them, I get to witness them, I get to mentor them if they desire my mentorship. I'm blessed that all 3 of my kids, knock on wood, so far, they desire my mentorship. They're always asking me, inviting me into their life. And I would like to keep it that way. So go and apologize to them, call yourself out on what happened, and then go live your best life. Don't just tell them, though, show them. Become everything that you want them to become it. This is one of the secrets to why my children, I believe, still, I feel so blessed that they want to be mentored by me, is because I'm someone worth being mentored by to them. Because if I was unhappy, if I was unhealthy, if I was in struggle mode, why would they want me as a mentor? They would say, you go figure your stuff out, woman, right? We want to be mentored by people that are building beautiful things in their life. They're happy, they're well-rounded, they're balanced, they're whole. My kids are so different than I expected, and I have to check myself when I want them to be like me. Yeah, we get the kids that it's like, this is what I believe. I believe our children choose us based on the things that they need to accomplish in this lifetime. And I also think that we choose our kids based on our highest level of growth. This is just my personal belief system. And so God gives us the parents and the children that we needed to have the most growth in this life, to be our best self. And in this point in my life, I do not need to learn all my lessons from difficulty or duality. I learned some of my lessons from duality, but most of it comes from love and peace. And so that's what I have in my life. My children, my husband represent peace and love and abundance in my life and pleasure in my life. And so that's what it's needed for my next level of growth. Why do we always feel like we want to apologize to our child? I'm not sure I understand the question. Can you elaborate? I can riff on why I apologize to my kids. So as a mom, as a goddess mom, I am their first level of guidance or how to be in the world. And so in my world, what I've done is when I catch myself doing something that is not to my highest alignment, I'm not in integrity to what I believe, I apologize to my friends, my family, my husband, my kids. I just say, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I said this, or I'm so sorry that I did this, or I'm so sorry I was functioning that way. I believe this is where it was coming from, not making excuses for myself, but I'm not going to do that anymore. And I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings. Even if it didn't appear to hurt their feelings, even if they didn't say anything, it does a lot of things for me. First, it shows them that it's okay to apologize. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be human. It's okay to self-correct that. Secondly, for me, it helps me clear the energy. I like having squeaky clean energy with everyone. That's just my thing. And so it helps me clear the energy. Third thing it does for me, it resets it where I'm going to be more conscious of the things that I'm doing and saying. So that's why I do it. But I'm not sure if that's what you meant by that question. What course could help me be more independent starting my own wealth? My husband owns a business and I need for nothing, but I want my own savings. Well, can you please tell me what stage you're in first? Or would you say that you're in basic babe stage, self-aware Barbie, or million dollar babe? My courses are also categorized on my website by stages, by the way. So if you're ever unsure, that's another way to see, but I could help you better if I knew what stage you're in. Starlight said, thank you, Mina, for giving us a new vision of motherhood. Not a mom, but this riff makes me want to be. I'm gonna go back and forth. I've gone back and forth with wanting it and being child-free, fully owning the desire. Beautiful. Congratulations. I love that. Self-aware Barbie. Okay, so Ursh, if you're in self-aware Barbie, you can literally get any course on my website, any of them, any of the over 100, and get something out of it. Because here's the thing, self-aware Barbies are very self-led. And as they're stepping into the million dollar babe, this happens even more that for us, we are the ones creating the result. We just need something to calibrate to. And because my courses are such a potent mix of integration work, healing work, inner work, thought work, emotional work, subconscious work, transmissions, calibration, they're gridded. You can close your eyes and buy anything, and it would get you results in because you're self-aware Barbie. What I'm being told to tell you though is start with the Millionaire's Play Shop. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. And I don't think I have that linked in the description box, but I will go ahead and drop it for you. I don't know why. Intuitively, I'm feeling like what would serve you. Now, if you have the money course, Millionaires is included in that. There's also a code in Millionaires to upgrade to the full money course if you want it afterwards. Here's Millionaires. Being a mom with a joyful living heart and hearing my son giggle is the best. I love that. Bree Gorgeous, we're talking about motherhood in today's transmission. Those kind of things, because I'm not an attorney, I don't like to publicly talk about certain things like that. I talk about those things in kainat. Some things I like to have kind of in close groups, so I'm not going to touch on that right now. I think giving my kids the courage to believe in their own wild dreams and their own sensitivities and their differences for me is the healing thing I can do. I apologize a lot because I realize, oops, I think that comment cut off. You've also inspired me about motherhood. I've always said I wouldn't be a mother, but now I want to grow and expand in that way. I do hear, I respect obviously every woman's decision on what she wants to do, whether she wants to have kids or not, and she gets to make that decision. However, I personally believe a lot of women are choosing not to have kids from their wounded inner child. That's what I see in the collective. And a lot of women will like I've also coached a lot of women that got to a certain age and then regretted it because they realized that they made that decision from the wounded child. And so what we can do is be the best versions of motherhood in ourselves. And I feel blessed that through my own example, other women have woken up to that fact that they were making the decision from their wounded child. But not every woman. Some women's like, nope, motherhood's definitely not for me. And I respect that. Yes, my mother encouraged me not to be a mother because she had a difficult time. God bless her soul. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that. I think, yeah, that's another thing, right? We can only give advice from our own level of depth and consciousness. And a lot of people are so much in their wounded that their advice is from their wounding. Yeah. I fear picking wrong partner or someone who is selfish and thus ruining motherhood and relationship experience. So let's play that out. So let's say that you picked the wrong partner. What would happen then? I prefer to coach, but I can't because you guys are not in real time. Plus there is a lag. But let me just play this out. So this is when women like this ask me this question in Kainat, that I coach them, I mentor them, and I can only give you like a glimpse of what that looks like because we can't talk. But let me just share this with you. So let's say that you picked the wrong guy. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, so then you realize you picked the wrong guy, and then you try to do inner work to fix it. Okay, and then what can happen? And then either it's fixed or it's not fixed. Okay, and then what can happen? Okay, and then you realize he's not a match, and then what can happen? And then you get a divorce. Okay, and then you get a divorce, and then what can happen? And then you have a new love list because you learn lessons from this experience. And then what can happen? Okay, well, then you can, create a more powerful love list. And now with this healing, you date a whole different type of guy, and then now you have a different type of person. So, like, so what? Like the purpose of life is not to live safely until we die. I believe most people are making sure that they're so safe so that they can safely die. Is that the purpose of your life? Right? Um, him being abusive. Okay, so what would happen if a man was abusive? You would leave. Like we're intelligent women having a conscious discussion surrounded by other spiritual women. So here's the thing. What if I drove and I got in a car crash? What if I went on a plane and like bad things can happen. They can. But we're here to live life. We're here to experience duality, learn from it, and manifest a better experience continuously. So the alternative is what? Never to go for your dreams, to play safe so you can die safely. That's not the life I want to have. I don't want to have a safe life so I can die safely. I want to be alive in this experience. I want to grow so much. I want to evolve. I want to experience all the wonderful things God has put on this planet. I want to experience delicious foods and places on this planet and flowers and different types of beaches. And I want to experience hardships of earning more money and having more clients and having a full life and then learning to let go of some things and learning to evolve into the next things. I want to be in my dream body. I want to take my relationship to new heights. I want to communicate better. I want to be a better leader. I want to be a better mother. I want to grow. Like all of these things are scary, yes. What I don't want to do is like live a safe life and then die safely. I've lived entirely too safely. Yeah, and some people that's as far as they want to go, and maybe that's the level of transmutation they're here to do on this planet. Maybe that's the level that they have the capacity for. I'm meant for more. My partner was abusive, but I healed and I'm happy and I have my kids. Yeah, I mean, life is gonna life, right? Like, of course, I wish no one was ever in an abusive relationship and no one ever went through anything. But if that means you're gonna live under a rock and never have a life, then I don't know if that's what I want for you. Like, go experience life. Like, go and live it. I like to be alive every day in this experience. Turn fear into power. Yes. Have a human experience. Go and do it. Do we need to heal our triggers and trauma 100% before having children so we don't pass it down? So there is no way to heal your triggers and trauma 100%. And yes, as a trauma-informed practitioner, I 100% believe that. It happens in layers. My children and my husband helped heal my trigger. So then if I waited to heal before I had them, how that doesn't even work. So no. Now, it depends on the level. Like I do think some people are very unhealthy and maybe they're not ready, but you only know that, right? Like I can't see you. And when in my coaching containers, I can give more specialized coaching, but here I don't know where you're at. But if I had waited to heal until have my marriage and children, I would have never healed because my marriage and my children are the things that healed me. Valentina said, God has rerouted me all my life, even when I made the worst decisions. Exactly. Same here. Same here. The healing happens from living life, not from hiding. So we have to actually live. The healing it's a forward moving momentum. It's not a stop everything forever, right? And there might be moments of pauses, but my healing actually started after I got married. Yes, my children brought me so much healing because I was determined to not make them carry generational burdens as much as possible. Yep. So that's why I'm not a big fan of you're going to spend 30 years healing and then you're going to get married, because it's like you could have just healed faster. Doing the thing, being in it, being present in it, being alive in it is the healing. Being present with it is the healing. I actually teach this in my nervous system reboot, by the way, which I highly recommend. I feel like a lot of people need that work. I'm gonna it's in the description box, but I'll throw the link here in the chat. It's called Prosperity Pathways. I talk about how being present with the thing, doing the thing, is what opens the pathways. And I give you a whole library of exercises. I also think a lot of people are just consuming content and they think they're healing. That is the first leg. I taught you guys this in Lady Balls. The first leg of anything is psychoeducation. But most people, because of having access to so much information, which I'm so grateful for, they only stop there. They overconsume the psychoeducation part and they do not move on to the next 3 steps. Every word from your mouth is gold. Thank you. I'm so glad it resonates with you. Stop playing small for yourself and others. My children constantly motivate me to be alive. Beautiful. Yes, that's the healing, right? That's the medicine. Not loneliness, not being alone by ourselves forever, not isolating ourselves forever. Life healed me. Beautiful. Yeah, I grew up in a home with all kinds of abuse, physical, psychological. Your courses helped me out of victimhood. I only have love for my parents now. I know Barkat now. Beautiful. That makes me so happy for you, gorgeous. You get to live your best life. God gave you resources here on this planet to be able to do so. No, Mariana, no, not at this time. There's over $10,000 of courses in 99 Realm currently. Yeah. Where you actually get like the work. So now when you sign up for 99 Realm, if you do the monthly, the courses get like you get one a month. But if you do the annual, if you buy the annual pass, you can email my team and we'll unlock. What they'll unlock is 10, and then you can join for March. We're doing a live one on courage. And then the live is only going to be for the annual pass members, though. For everyone else, it's going to get added in the sequence. And then in April, we're doing one on power. Mina, what are your thoughts on women who fully live in the basic babe stage and get married and choose to be a mother? I haven't had any thoughts on them. Like, I haven't thought about it. I believe at any given time, if you look at someone's timeline, they might have a basic babe moment, but they get to evolve. And my parents didn't even have to change for me to heal. I love them from a distance when they're difficult. We catch up when it's aligned. I love this, Shruti. You are really using this work. Ah. Do we have something on fear? Yes. Oh my God. Money, money, come to me, play shop is my transmission on fear. It's my favorite thing I've done on fear ever. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that for you guys. Money, money, come to me. And I know it's like I called it a kind of a sexy name, but it's fear in all aspects. But it will help you with money as well. It's so good. I did it with my son Armand. It's the first thing we ever created together, so it's extra special for me. Um, yes, in 99 Realm, Courage is coming next month. Well, it's being taught live next month. You're gonna get it in a sequence. So courage is the opposite of fear. And so instead of talking about fear, we'll just talk about courage. But if you want to talk about fear, it's in Money, Money, Come to Me. So I don't have to be this perfect dream version of me to be with a wonderful man. No, I was in self-aware Barbie and basic babe when I met Irfan. And he mirrored that back. He also needed inner work, right? So we're always going to get our energetic match. And because my energetic match was also growth, and I'm always growing, always learning, always willing to take personal responsibility, I also attracted someone that's willing to grow with me. So you're always going to get your energetic match. I think my beliefs and fears are getting up leveled right now. Thank you. You're so welcome. Yes. Beautiful. Here's another thing I want to say that's coming up to close this up because I think my alarm is about to ring for my class. I was sharing this somewhere. I think it was in Kainat, and I'll share this line over here because this is going to be useful to yourself. We were talking about how we should be the type of client that we want to attract. We should be the type of friend that we want to attract. So be the kind of daughter that you want to attract. Because I see a little bit of unclean energy when people say, I hate my mom, but I want this kind of a daughter or these kind of children, right? It's like, okay, unless you want your children to also hate you, right? Like, do you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying those two things are connected, but this is how I live my life. I like clean energy everywhere. I like clean energy in my house, in my relationships, in my business, in my barakat. I want clean energy with God, right? So you'll never hear me saying, I hate my mom, but I have a beautiful, happy relationship with my kids. There's something about that just doesn't feel clean to me, right? And so I'm the kind of daughter that I want. I'm the kind of client that I want. I'm the kind of friend that I want. I'm the kind of partner that I want. I'm the kind of human that I want to manifest in this world. So clean up your energy with your parents, and you naturally your energy will become clean, and you will attract a family. Whether you already have one, you'll take it up a notch, or you're attracting one. Clean up the energy. Because what I hear, I'm going into my projector coding right now, and sorry, projector words can sound kind of harsh, is I hear all this yuckiness with our parents, but like we get to have this. Something's not clean with that energy. Because you'll just, until that's healed in you, it will keep manifesting in other places. So clean things up in your life. Sometimes it means cleaning things up from a distance. I totally get it, but clean it up. Like even people that are no longer in my life, I do not have any animosity, any negative feelings, anything unclean. Even people that I've like had to remove, when I think about them, my heart expands. Even people that have harmed me in the past, I've cleaned up the energy from my angle. I've done the work. I've cried, I've released the resentment, I've done the forgiveness. Everything I teach you guys, I live by. Every single thing. I am my greatest proof of concept. Yes, I have thousands of testimonials from women all over the world, but I am and remain my greatest proof of concept because I want to be 100% embodied in everything I teach. So even people that have harmed me in the past, I've done all the exercises, everything I teach you guys, clear it. When I think about them, I think not about them harming me. I think about the love that I have for them. I think about the human to human spiritual love. I wish them well. I'll do it now. I can think of every single person that's harmed me in this world, the sexual abuse, anything, any of it. And my heart just wants to send them love. I hope they're well. I hope they're healed. I hope they're happy. I hope they're abundant. I hope they've made peace with themselves. That's it. That's my energy is clean because I can only clean my side of the street. I have control over my body, my feelings, my emotions, my life, my home, my family. That's what I control. This is my goddess domain. And that's all we can do. Ladies, my class starts soon. I have a couple minutes. My alarm will go off. Just joining. Hi, Sydney. Mina, you look incredible. I love the green top from the video on Million Dollar Babes and this one too. Thank you, gorgeous. I think I found, you know how I find an outfit and I love it and then I'll just like buy it on all the colors. Like I'm having a lace moment right now. And so I bought like all these see-through lace skirts and these tops and I'm in my lace era. So get used to it because you'll be seeing it a lot. Kristen said, I was just talking about this showing up in the right energy in all areas of your life. Being a great business partner, but a horrible spouse is spiritually immature. Exactly. I can't even do that. Like the female consciousness is so intertwined. Like we don't work in compartments. And so I can't even do that. I can't be like, you know, a great wife, but like a shitty business partner or I work my best magic when everything is clean. I've got a clean line of communication with God. I'm clean in my energy everywhere, in my marriage, in my friendships, in my parenting with my clients. Like it's all good, it's all clean. And not spiritually bypassing, like it's not clean, we're just going to pretend, but like it has to be clean internally. So I do the work that I teach you. I am my biggest proof of concept. I always say that because I literally do everything I teach you guys. It was so worth, that's my alarm. It was so worth being in here today. Thank you, Mina, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Mariana. Thank you, thank you. Um, yes, I loved your blue lace top yesterday. It's the same one as this. Let me see if I can quickly grab it for you. I don't know if we have time to grab it. You know what I'll do? You guys are on Instagram following me, right? I hope you are. On Instagram, I will go ahead and put a stories and I'll put the link to the tops and the skirts. Okay, looks like lots of people love that one. Okay, I'll go ahead and put the link for you guys in Instagram stories. And if you're following my LTK store, which my son runs, which he's been busy with school, so he's not my middle one, my teenager. But I'll have him update the links with these tops and skirts too. I have a whole new wardrobe, a lace wardrobe that you guys would probably want. Yeah, I'll put it in there. Thank you, everyone. This was so much fun. You're my favorite guru right now. Thanks for showing me the way. I love you, Bree. Thank you. Yes, I follow you on IG. Okay, I'll go ahead and throw up a stories in there with the links. All right, ladies, I'll let you guys go. I have my class in a little bit, and I will see you guys in the next one. Wife, students, Kainat, I'll see you on Friday. We've got a very special class on Friday. All right, babes. Bye. Bye, everyone.